Welcome back, boys. This is part 2 of the lesson that you learned yesterday. So I'm only going to be adding one thing to the examples that you did yesterday. So hopefully you still remember those 3 properties because you're going to use them in today's lesson. So let's begin. So I want you to look at this example. If you have 8x divided by 4x. Now, what I want you to do is draw a dotted line to split this problem into 2 separate problems where you have your numbers and then you have your letters. So if you have 8 over 4 and you have x over x. Now, if you reduce 8 over 4, you would get 2 over 1. Now, x divided by x, technically there are little ones here. And if you know the property from yesterday, if you were to subtract 1 and 1, you get 0. And if you remember, x to the 0th power is 1. So essentially, this entire thing disappears, leaving you with just an answer of 2 over 1. Okay, so if you have something that has the same exponent, it's automatically going to cancel out. Now look at this one. You have 5x over 15x squared. Draw a dotted line, and let's break the problem up. 5 over 15. Well, you need to reduce that by 5. If you do that, you get 1 over 3. Now, look at these. You have x to the first over x squared. If you subtract your exponents, which is the property that you learned yesterday, you're going to get x to the first. Now, the problem is that is going to have to go in your fraction, and it's going to go at the bottom. And the reason for that is, I'll point to it, is this 1 and this 2. You put the answer where the bigger exponent was. So after we subtracted 1 and 2, you got x to the first, and it goes on the bottom of your fraction because the 2 over here was bigger than the 1 over here. Okay, so I'll make a note for you on that. But basically, you reduce the fraction, so here are your steps. So draw your dotted line, subtract your exponents, and then put the answer where the bigger exponent was. Okay, and you'll see that throughout the rest of these examples. So this is the concept. So let's look at this one. So we're going to draw your dotted line, and you're getting 9 over 3. Well, if you reduce that, you can divide by 3, and you're going to get 3 over 1. Now put your missing exponent right down here, and if you subtract x cubed and x to the first, you're going to get x squared, and it's going to go on the top of your fraction because this 3 was bigger than this 1. So this is your answer. Let's look at letter B. Draw your dotted line. We have 35 over 56. So you need to think of a number, and we're not doing decimals, that will go in to both 35 and 56. And I believe you can divide by 7. So if you do that, you're going to get 5 over 8. Now look at your x's. You have x cubed and x to the fifth. You're going to get x squared, and it's going to go on the bottom because this 5 was bigger than this 3. And if you think about it, if you were to draw 3 x's on the top and 5 x's on the bottom, I showed you this yesterday. This x cancels, this x cancels, this x cancels. Where are these two x's left? They're left on the bottom of your fraction. So it's another reason why it goes where the bigger exponent was. Now we're going to do two letters. Do them the same way we've been doing before. Draw a dotted line and separate the problem. So we have r cubed over r to the first. If you subtract that, you're going to get r squared, and it's going to go on the top because the 3 was bigger than 1. Look at these, and you're going to get s squared, and it's going to go on the bottom because the 4 was bigger than 2. So there's your answer. Now this one, you have numbers and then 2 different letters. So we're going to need 2 dotted lines. So -9 over 12. Well, a number that can go into both would be 3. So it looks like you're going to get -3 over 4. So I'm going to bring that down here. Now I'm going to look at my x's. So you have x squared over x to the first. If you subtract that, you're going to get x to the first, and it's going to go on the top because the 2 is bigger than 1. Let's do the y's. If you subtract your y's, you're going to get y to the first, and it's going to go on the bottom because the 4 was bigger than 3. And also just something that you should note is alphabetical order. Okay, so make sure your x's come before your y's if they were to be right next to each other. All right, and I do believe these are the last two. So the only thing that the only way these can get more difficult is if the numbers get larger and I add more letters. So let's go ahead and do this one. Draw your dotted line. So 48 over 12. I think actually you can just divide this by 12 and you would get 4 over 1. And let's look at your x's. So you have x to the 6th over x to the 1st. If you subtract those, you're going to get x to the 5th. It's going to go on the top because 6 was bigger than 1. And if you look at these, well, if you remember from before, if you have the same exponent, they're automatically going to cancel. So this is just your final answer. And as you know, I shouldn't have to tell you, you can also just simply write it like this, where the 1 underneath is not important. Last one, separate the problem. All right, so we have 42 over 49. Let's think of a number. I do believe it's 7, and that would give you 6/7. So write this down here. All right, let's go ahead and do the a's. Well, a cubed over a cubed, if they're the same, they're going to automatically cancel. Let's do the b's. This is b to the 1st over b to the 4th. If you subtract, you're going to get b cubed, and it goes on the bottom because the 4 was bigger than the 1. And then the last one is your c's. If you subtract, you're going to get c cubed, and it's going to go on the bottom because the 5 was bigger than 2. So it looks like this 6 is the only thing that is on the top. And again, like I said, alphabetical order, so this B should be before the C. All right, so take your time with the assignment, draw your dotted lines, reduce your fractions, and just separate your exponents. So it's very easy. And your assignment is a worksheet. Again, show me all the work and submit it to Moodle by 2:40. See you boys next time. Bye.